Welcome everyone. So in this session we are going to learn about the classification of taxes. So classification of taxes. Let's see. One second. Classification of taxes. Okay. So there are different classification as per section 5 of Income Tax Act 1961. Okay, so which defines the concept of total income of a taxpayer in terms of his residential status. Okay, so in fact, the incidence of a taxation depends on the residential status of the assessee. The classifications are like it is as per the total income of the taxpayer as per the terms of his residential status means like no ordinary resident, then resident but not ordinary resident, then non-resident. As per those things, the tax as per IT Act, that is Income Tax Act 1961. Okay, so section 5. So there are different things like you know classifications. The first classification is, one second. The first classification is in the hands of the resident and ordinary resident. Okay, ordinary resident. So what exactly in the hands of a resident and ordinary resident? The tax will be levied from the resident and ordinarily resident. It is not ordinary, it is ordinarily. Ordinarily. Okay, resident. So what exactly income received in India? Income received in India. Okay. Second one is income which acquired or arose in India. Income which acquired or accrued or actually arose in India. The third one is, so income accrued or arose outside India provided the business is set up in India. Okay, so I have an example. I made a training company in India, and I went to Dubai and had a training, and I earned some income on behalf of my company, training company. So it is what exactly? Income arose or income accrued. Income accrued or arose. Okay, arose outside India. Outside India, but what? Which provided the business, but business set up in India. Okay. So these are the condition in the first clause. Okay, first clause of section 5. Okay, that is what. So in in the hands of this, in the hands of, okay, in the hands of resident and ordinarily resident. Okay, so income received in India, income which occurred or accrued or arose in India, income accrued or arose outside India, but the business is set up. Okay, but the business is set up in India. Okay, what about the second one? Let's see. Okay, so the second one is in the hands of resident but not ordinarily resident. In the hands of, in the hands of resident but not ordinarily resident, but not ordinarily resident. So that is like income received in India. Okay, who is an ordinarily resident? So ordinarily resident um, is a person who no go to uh, some other country abroad, and he may not be here in India, but he is a citizen resident, but most of the time he is traveling or he is outside. Have an example: those who going to UAE and working over there, they won't get citizenship of a UAE, but they are ordinarily resident in India. Okay, who is a permanent resident? Who is literally a resident, same like you and me. Okay, ordinarily resident is a person who you know have a citizenship in India, but he is not a permanent resident. Okay, so what happens here? So in the hands of resident but not ordinarily resident. So income received India, income received, income. Have an example: income. I am working in Dubai, but I took a class uh, to India. Okay, in India, and I earn money in India. So income received in India. Have an example: me and my father is outside. My father, you know, getting pension from India, but he is residing. He is not a ordinary. Sorry, he is not a permanent resident, but he is an ordinary resident. Okay, then this is not applicable. This is not applicable. This is only for resident. Okay, permanent resident, but not a ordinary resident. So, have an example. 1 month he came to my house. I mean, like in Dubai. Consider my father came to my house for 1 week. Consider 1 week, and that time he earned some amount in India. So that is he is a permanent resident, and he came to my house for a vacation, that's it, in Dubai, and the income received in India is taxable for him. Okay. Second one is like income which accrued or arose in India. Income which accrued or rose in India. Okay. So third one is income accrued or arose outside India, provided business is which is controlled or set up in India. Same point. So is taxable. Okay. So the same thing applicable here also, but there is some uh, points to be added, like in the hands of a resident and ordinarily a resident. These are the things, which is applicable for resident and ordinarily resident. So income received in India, income which is accrued or arose in India, income accrued or arose outside India, but it is set up in India. But here the third point is like a same as like that, income accrued or arose, okay, outside India, outside India. But what happens? Provided the business or profession is controlled, the business or profession controlled or set up in India. Okay. So there is only minor change. So both ordinarily citizen and permanent citizen have the same clauses. Only small thing is like a here the permanent resident, if he is working here, have an example, I am getting salary, I came there to present a paper in America, that time I received a salary or honorarium. So that is through my profession, not through company or any business I set up in India. Okay, any business which is set up in India. So resident, the permanent resident is abid with all the things, whatever it is, because he is a permanent resident in India and he is traveling somewhere. But the ordinarily resident is also applicable. Same things will be applicable for ordinarily resident also. One second. So next one is non-resident. So what is the NRI? Non-resident. This is people who working outside. Okay, for a long time, in a year, is called as non-residential Indian. NRI. Non-residential Indian. So I will explain ordinarily resident. So ordinarily resident, if he is outside India for more than 182 days, is considered as more than more than 182 days in outside. Then if he is less than 180 82 days, then he is a permanent resident itself. But he is working somewhere outside permanently. If he is traveling, then we cannot say like that. If he is working somewhere for a short period of time, that means 3 months or 4 months, then it is he become ordinarily resident. Okay, some offshore work will be there. People will be sent from India to outside. Then also they have to pay money if they are generating it from India. They have to pay tax if they are generating it from India. An income which is earned outside India, then ordinarily resident or resident shall not, you know, pay the tax. Okay. Have an example. You can have a question like, sir, what about YouTube channel? Are you earning it from a US or India? Yes, your YouTube channel, you made a YouTube channel from India itself, right? But the company is situating in US. So which tax is applicable? The floor is open to you. Which tax is applicable? So a YouTube channel, hello, an YouTube channel, you have a YouTube channel, what happens? The income is coming from US. Okay, so are you able to pay taxes, or should you want to abide with the rules of Income Tax Act 1961? Any idea? Hello. Sorry? You have to pay the tax, right? Okay. You have to pay the tax where? In US or in India? In India, okay. But you have to pay the tax in US. So they will deduct the tax uh, from US and they will give it to you. Okay. So because you are earning it from in you are you making everything from India. I mean, like videos, content, and all. You are working in India, but the company is in US. Where the company is situated, it is in US. As per the US law, YouTube is working. Even copyright laws are US laws. Okay, so what exactly you have to pay tax for US government? Okay, so it is not for a government of India. So non-resident, so income received in India has to pay. So if even though you are a non-resident, that means more than 182 days, or up to permanently you are working over there, then if you are earning something from your you know personal things, or your company which is operating in India, or the rent that you are getting from your property or agricultural land, you are eligible, or you are entitled to pay the tax. Okay, understood. So a non-resident is an individual who is a citizen of India, or a person of Indian origin, and who is not a resident of India. Okay, and he is working somewhere outside India. So if he is earning something from his business who has started in India, so income received in India, or any land or property, or any bank fixed deposit, or anything, any savings, it will be considered as income received in India. Okay. So second one is income accrued in India. Income accrued in India. That means the levy of a tax depends on the residential status of the assessee. So income accrued in India, that means a non-resident who um, you know who came to the land of India, and he earned something but not yet received, so he has to levy the tax. Okay, so the levy of tax does not depend on a citizenship, even though whatever it is, if he is earning from India, he has to pay. That's the golden rule, golden thumb or thumb rule. Okay, if it is from India, he has to pay, in a nutshell. So that is what exactly non-resident tax. Then we can have a discussion on resident and ordinarily resident. So an individual. So let us explain resident and resident. Discuss the importance to know about ordinarily resident. So an individual is said to be a resident in India if he satisfy any one of the condition which I am going to say as per section 6. Okay, as per section 6, that if that resident satisfy like two additional condition, that he is said to be resident and ordinarily resident. So that is one basic condition, and plus two additional conditions as well. So what are the basic condition? So that is, we can put it like a basic condition, one basic condition plus additional condition. That is, two additional conditions are there. So what are the basic conditions? Let us discuss on that. So basic conditions are like a presence in the country for at least 182 days. Okay, 182 days during the previous year he should have to be there, so that we can say that he is a resident or ordinarily resident. Okay, present in the country, okay, for at least 182 days during the previous year. Which country? Abroad. Second condition is like no, the presence in India. Okay, the presence in India for at least 60 days during the previous year and 365 days during the 4 years preceding the previous year. Okay, so in the previous year he has to be there in India for 60 days previous year. Okay, and 365 days for the past 4 years aggregate. Okay, so this is what exactly the two conditions. Okay, one second. So any one of this basic condition should be achieved. Any one of this basic condition should be achieved, because one basic condition should be taken to determine whether he or she is a resident or ordinarily resident. And what is the additional condition? Let's see. additional condition. Okay, so additional condition, the it is mandatory, the two conditions should be meet. So the resident in India for at least 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year. Okay, preceding the previous years. So he should be a resident in India out of 10, 9 years he has to be, you know he has to be still resident in India for 9 years out of 10, considering or preceding the previous year. Preceding the previous year. Okay, and second condition is like present in India for at least presence in India at least 730 days. Okay, don't forget 730 days during the 7 years preceding the previous year. During the here date has not mentioned. Okay, date has not mentioned, only 9 years. If you leave one day, I mean like for 9 years 9 days you have lived. Okay, per year 1 day you have lived in India, so you can say like I lived 9 years in India. Yeah, no, the second condition is also applicable, that is present in India at least 730 days during 7 years which is preceding the previous year. Okay, so this two condition is mandatory to determine that you are a resident or a ordinarily resident. So there are one basic condition that should be achieved from this, that is 182 day abroad, or in India it is 60 days preceding the previous year. Okay, from previous year, and 365 days past 4 years. So previous year you have to at least uh, be in India for 60 days. Okay, and the resident in India, that is additional condition, like you have to be in India for 9 years out of 10 years preceding the previous years, at least 9 years out of 10 of a consecutive previous year. There shall be no gap. Now you are 21 and you were there in India for 9 years, 10 years back. No, consecutive preceding the previous year. Okay, so that is consecutive years without any break. So present in India at least 730 days during 7 years preceding the previous year. All right, so this is what exactly the difference between resident and ordinarily resident. So let us discuss on resident but not ordinarily resident. Okay, resident but not ordinarily resident. So what is that? So an individual who satisfy at least one of the basic condition but does not satisfy the two additional condition is treated as resident but not ordinarily condition. So resident but not ordinarily resident, that means he has to, the individual who satisfy at least one basic condition. Okay, one basic condition, and not satisfying two additional condition. So that is called as resident, but not ordinarily resident. So ordinarily resident is like he has to travel. Okay, his presence shall not be fully applicable I mean, like he is present for all day for the previous 10 years, or he has more than 730 days. Okay, so then it is we cannot consider him as an ordinarily resident. Okay, he is a resident, permanent resident, because full time he is in India, or he were in India, he was in India. Okay, so he shall not be considered as an ordinarily resident. Have an example. Maybe I am considered as I mean, like a permanent resident, not an ordinarily resident. So what about ordinarily resident? Ordinarily resident has to satisfy what? One basic condition and two additional conditions. Okay, so who is an NRI? Non resident Indian. Who is an NRI? So an individual is a actually non-resident NRI if he satisfy none of the basic condition which I am going to say. The first one is a stay by an individual or board a ship within the territorial water of India would be treated as his presence in India for the purpose of determining his residential status. So if he stay, okay, in India or boarding board a ship in the territory of India, okay, or territorial water line of India, and his presence in India for purpose of determining his residential status. Okay, so if he is doing such kind of things, like if he is staying in India, or if he is on the water, definitely he will be considered as, there is some nautical miles. Okay, we have some borders in over the sea also. So if we are in the border or territorial region of India, even if you are in the ship, definitely it is not considered as resident. Second one is a total of 24 hours of stay spread over a number of days will be counted as stay of one day. Okay, so total of 24 hours, it will be total of 24 hours, and you have you came here for 1 hour, you came to India 24 times and you spend 1 hour each. So then also at least 24 hours spread over a number of days will be counted as one day. Treated as one day. And third one, place of stay or purpose of stay is not material. Place of stay and purpose of stay is not material. Okay, so actually the stay need not be continuous. What like the stay need not be at the same place, but if you are in India, it will be considered as, you know, a person will be considered as what, a resident. So place doesn't matter. Okay, so you having more income in India, and you are saying like you are an NRI. No, if you are coming to India, definitely you can be considered as an NRI. Okay, but these additional conditions are not relevant for NRI. So these are the three additional conditions, like a stay in India or bordership in territory of India, total of 24 hours spread over number of days counted as a one day, and place doesn't matter. If you have no, these are the three conditions which is not matter for considering you as, not considering you as known resident. Okay, so what exactly if you are spending more than 7 months, and you are working somewhere abroad and earning income from there, you can be considered as a non resident. A mere a mere visit to India doesn't make any issues, like you you will be treated as, or the NRI will be treated as non NRI. No, a mere visit doesn't matter. So these are some mere visits. Okay, it doesn't matter for non residential Indian, uh, like it won't affect their non residential status. All right. So whatever it is, the NRI should also pay tax. Previously, there was an exemption for NRI earnings. Nowadays, those who are working abroad and sending money, definitely, if they are sending money, some NRI taxes would also be charged. Okay, so that is not in our syllabus, but just to inform you that mm, recently, I mean, like less than 4 years, I believe NRI taxes has been uh, enacted by government of India. So nowadays NRIs also, who is sending money, has to pay the tax. Okay, so I'll give you a problem, same like that YouTube income. Here you have to solve this problem. Okay, have an example, Ricky Ponting. Okay, he's a Australian cricketer, right? Yeah, former captain. So it's been coming to India. Okay, for 100 days. Okay, every year since 2000, yeah, 2010 to 2011. Okay, so you have to determine his residential status for the assessment year. Okay, uh, assessment year 2015, 16. Okay, we have to determine the residential status. Okay. All right. So think about it, and you can give the comment. All right. So I'm stopping it here. Thank you.